Have you ever wondered what it feels like to step into a living museum where Ottoman architecture still breathes through cobblestone streets? In this video, I'll walk you through Berat, Albania, a UNESCO World Heritage city that locals call the City of a Thousand Windows. You'll discover why this ancient settlement has captured hearts for over 2,400 years and what makes it one of the Balkans' most authentic destinations. Let me start with what draws most people to Berat, Albania in the first place. This isn't your typical tourist destination. When you arrive, you'll notice immediately how the white Ottoman houses seem to cascade down the hillside like a waterfall frozen in time. Each house appears to be stacked on top of another, creating this incredible visual rhythm that photographers dream about. The city sits along the Osum River, and from certain viewpoints, you can see how the water has shaped this landscape for millennia. What strikes me most is how naturally everything fits together here. There's no sense of forced preservation or artificial restoration. This is simply how people have lived for centuries. Walking through the old quarter, you'll find yourself on streets that haven't changed much since the 15th century. The stone paths are worn smooth by countless footsteps, and the buildings lean toward each other as if sharing secrets. I often tell people that Berat feels less like a destination and more like discovering someone's well-kept family home. The castle area, known locally as Kala, sits at the highest point of the city. This isn't a museum piece. People still live within these ancient walls. You'll pass by houses where families hang their laundry on lines stretched between medieval stones. Children play in courtyards that Byzantine emperors once walked through. Inside the castle grounds, you'll find several churches that tell the story of Albania's complex religious history. The Church of St. Mary of Blackernay dates back to the 13th century. What's remarkable is how well preserved the frescoes remain. The colors are still vibrant, and you can make out individual faces of saints painted over 700 years ago. The National Iconographic Museum houses one of the finest collections of Orthodox icons in the Balkans. These aren't just religious artifacts. They're windows into artistic techniques that have been passed down through generations. You'll see works by Onufri, a master painter whose red pigment was so distinctive that art historians now call it Onufri Red. Let me tell you about the Mangalem Quarter, which is where most of those famous white houses are located. This neighborhood developed during the Ottoman period, and you can see how the architecture adapted to the steep terrain. Each house is built to maximize light and air circulation while maintaining privacy, something that was crucial in traditional Albanian culture. The windows are what give Berat its nickname. They're not just decorative elements. Each one is positioned to catch morning light or afternoon breezes. When you look up from the river, these windows create patterns that change throughout the day as shadows shift and light moves across the facades. Gorica Quarter sits on the opposite side of the Osum River, connected by a stone bridge that's been rebuilt several times over the centuries. This area has a different character, quieter, more residential. The houses here tend to be larger, and many have small gardens tucked behind high walls. I recommend spending at least an hour just walking through Gorica. The streets are narrower than in Mangalem, and you'll discover small details that bigger tour groups often miss. Look for the old water fountains built into walls, or the carved stone doorways that mark family homes from the Ottoman-era. The Osum River itself plays a huge role in Berat's character. During spring, when snow melts in the surrounding mountains, the water runs fast and clear. In summer, it slows to a gentle flow that reflects the white houses perfectly. Local families still gather along the riverbanks in the evenings, continuing a tradition that goes back generations. There's a particular spot near the old bridge where you can sit and watch daily life unfold. Fishermen cast their lines early in the morning. Women come to wash vegetables from their gardens. Children throw stones into the water, creating ripples that distort the reflection of the houses above. The food culture in Berat, Albania, deserves special mention. This isn't fusion cuisine or modern interpretations of traditional dishes. Families here cook the same recipes their grandmothers used. You'll find tavernas tucked into stone cellars, where the menu depends on what ingredients were available that morning. Try the local bajrak, layers of thin pastry filled with cheese, spinach, or meat. Each family makes it slightly differently, and you can taste these subtle variations as you move from one restaurant to another. The pace of dining here reflects the city's overall rhythm. Meals are meant to be shared slowly, with conversation flowing as naturally as the wine. Speaking of wine, the hills around Berat have been producing grapes for over 2,000 years. The terroir here creates wines with distinct mineral qualities that reflect the limestone soil. Local vintners often welcome visitors to their cellars, not as formal tour groups, but as neighbors sharing their craft. The traditional crafts in Berat tell another part of the story. You'll still find woodcarvers working with techniques passed down through families. Their shops smell of cedar and pine, and you can watch them shape pieces by hand using tools that haven't changed in centuries. Silver filigree work is another local specialty. The artisans create intricate jewelry and decorative objects using incredibly fine silver wire. Each piece takes days or weeks to complete, and no two are exactly alike. This isn't mass production. It's individual artistry that reflects the maker's personal style. The best time to experience Berat is during the shoulder seasons, late spring or early autumn. Summer brings more visitors, which can change the intimate atmosphere that makes this place special. Winter has its own beauty, with snow highlighting the architectural details, but some smaller restaurants and shops close during the coldest months. I always suggest staying at least 2 nights if you can. The first day, you'll be busy taking in the obvious sights: the castle, the main quarters, the museums. The second day allows you to slow down and notice things you missed. Maybe you'll discover a small church hidden in the castle walls, or find a cafe where locals gather to play backgammon. Photography in Berat works best during the golden hours, early morning and late afternoon. The white stones of the houses seem to glow during these times, and the shadows create depth and texture that midday light flattens out. Don't just focus on the famous views. Some of the most compelling images come from details: weathered door handles, vine-covered walls, or the play of light through ancient windows. The people of Berat are genuinely welcoming, but in a reserved way that reflects traditional Albanian hospitality. They're not trying to sell you anything or rush you through experiences. If you show genuine interest in their city, many will share stories that guidebooks don't contain. I remember talking with an elderly man who had lived in the same house within the castle walls for over 60 years. He told me about changes he'd witnessed, but also about what had remained constant. His family had maintained their small vegetable garden through different political systems, economic changes, and waves of tourists. That continuity is what makes Berat special. The surrounding countryside offers additional perspectives on the city. A short hike up Mount Tomorr provides views that show how Berat fits into its natural setting. You can see the river valley stretching toward distant mountains and understand why this location has been continuously inhabited for so many centuries. Transportation to and from Berat is straightforward but not rushed. Buses connect the city to Tirana and other Albanian destinations, and the journey gives you time to watch the landscape change from mountains to river valleys. Many visitors rent cars, which allows for stops at small villages along the way. Accommodation options range from guest houses within restored Ottoman houses to modern hotels outside the historic center. I personally prefer staying within the old quarters when possible. Waking up inside those ancient walls, hearing the call to prayer echoing off stone buildings, gives you a deeper connection to the place. The evening atmosphere in Berat deserves its own mention. As daylight fades, the white houses seem to absorb and reflect the last light. Restaurant terraces fill with families sharing dinner. Children play in small squares, while their parents talk with neighbors. There's no nightlife in the modern sense, just the gentle rhythm of a community that has found its pace over centuries. Weather patterns here follow the Mediterranean climate, but the river and surrounding hills create their own microclimate. Summers are warm but not oppressive, winters mild with occasional snow. Spring brings wildflowers to the hillsides, and autumn colors the vineyard slopes in shades of gold and red. The UNESCO designation has brought both benefits and challenges to Berat. International recognition helps preserve the architectural heritage and brings economic opportunities through tourism. At the same time, residents work to maintain their community's authentic character as more visitors discover this remarkable place. What makes Berat, Albania unique isn't any single monument or attraction. It's the complete experience. The way architecture, landscape, culture, and daily life have evolved together over centuries. This is living history, not a recreated version of the past. Modern Albania is developing rapidly, but Berat maintains its own timeline. Changes happen gradually here, with respect for what has worked well for generations. New restaurants open in restored buildings. Young people return from studies abroad and start businesses that honor traditional crafts while meeting contemporary needs. The surrounding region offers day trip opportunities that complement your Berat experience. Apollonia, an ancient Greek and Roman city, lies about an hour away. The Osumi canyons provide dramatic natural scenery. The thermal springs at Benja offer relaxation in a beautiful mountain setting. But honestly, I find that Berat itself provides enough discovery for several days. Each neighborhood has its own character. Every street reveals architectural details that tell stories about the people who built and maintained these homes through centuries of change. The markets in Berat operate much as they have for generations. Farmers bring produce from surrounding villages. Local families shop for daily needs. You won't find tourist souvenirs here, just the genuine commerce that sustains a working community. As I wrap up this exploration of Berat, I want to emphasize what I find most valuable about this place. It's not just beautiful architecture or historic significance, though both are remarkable. It's the authentic way of life that continues within these ancient walls. Berat doesn't try to be anything other than itself. It's not positioning itself as the next big destination or transforming to meet external expectations. The city simply continues being what it has always been, a place where people have created beautiful, functional communities that respect both their heritage and their daily needs. If you found this journey through Berat helpful, I'd appreciate a like or subscribe. Share this with anyone planning to visit the Balkans. They might discover something unexpected in this remarkable city. Thanks for being here. Travel gently.